Okay, so we're about to put in this beautiful engine and the transmission, and as you know it, I have a automatic transmission in my car right now, so we're gonna go ahead and do the swap. So we're gonna convert it from automatic to manual. So what you're gonna need is simple. You're gonna need the main transmission with all the sensors. The engine wiring harness is very important, and also the starter being in manual. We already checked everything plugs and play, besides having to drill holes here and there. And on my car in particular, you reuse the gas pedal and the power brake booster, or the brake line, the brake pedal. It stays in there. All you do is put in the clutch. And we're gonna put a good little setup. Oh, this little cat right here wants to touch me while I'm recording this video. So I'm trying to do this before I end up messing up and not doing it since the beginning. So we already started it yesterday and today, and supposedly I was told we're gonna finish it up. So I'm gonna do little videos here and there as I do the build. And this is a low model engine, high compression. It's the same setup I have, except this is younger, and it supposedly is put on correctly. I didn't get to check the pistons nor the crankshaft, but I know that this one is ready to go. It's a brand new engine basically, and that transmission only has 33,000 miles on it, and that is a what is it, a CO7 6-speed with the LSD limited slip differential. I got all the stuff here. It goes to that's actually accessories. Good thing is for you to read this book right here. Mine is an automatic chassis, so I might have to do a little extra effort, but other than that, I'm excited, and we're gonna put that today. It's early around at like 10 in the morning. There's a motor mount, but yeah, pretty much it. It's gonna be a pretty interesting build, and they're bringing the car hoist right now. The mechanic's on the way. I'm gonna help them. Oh snap, look what the cat did. He went ahead and got that thing that I use for the wires. So that's cool, look. But when it comes, I re-upload the video. But thanks for tuning in. Okay, here's a look at the transmission. Codename ASP3 4001 057. Put this guy in here and snap them in, so it has to have the whole thing assembled. There goes the CV shaft. It's right there, that long piece. Although I sourced that from an automatic, it's supposed to be for the CL7, but it's the same part. Almost, unbelievably, it's almost identical, congruent, but might be a little different, but it is the same part and lengthwise, so that fits right there. And that's obtained from the automatic TSX. If I recall correctly, that was like $60 because the CL7 cost $125. But I got this one because it looked in better condition, and it was the same. Well, that's K series. I mean, I'm already in the correct chassis, so it wouldn't even matter because supposedly a lot of parts are interchangeable. But I'm gonna give you the hints and the techniques you need so as to cheat and get your build-up going. But I'll put it in the video. I'll add that crucial information so like that could simplify your setup. So there's a K20A manual transmission type R right there, the coding. Now we're putting the K20 CO7 engine harness. That's what we're doing. We're transferring it to the good engine. which is self-explanatory. And you need the correct starter. This is the one to the K20 CL7. Okay, so we removed the radiator, removed the battery, and the ECU box. Now we're getting ready to remove this engine and put the better engine with the good Type-R transmission. So we're at work. Let's continue with the build. Okay, so the car's ready to get pulled out the motor. We're gonna pull it out together and install the other motor, the better motor. Let's go forward with the build. Okay, so this wasn't really necessary, but I'm looking for a radiator. And all the other thing I'm looking for is how the clutch is assembled on this manual transmission Accord, whether it be a 4-door or 2-door, it'll be the same. Supposedly the lady told me there's one right here, but I didn't see it in the beginning, so I'm assuming they put it in the other side since they kind of moved everything aside. And right now, only issue is that it was raining earlier today, so that might stop me from doing the build. But the mechanic just contacted me, and I'm helping them do those strenuous swap, so this will be the third day. If this wasn't raining, would have been done today. But right now I'm bringing the phone to record how the clutch grabs onto the wire, because that's the only issue he told me we're gonna be stuck at. So I thought about getting the dashboard wires from the manual transmission, but that's gonna be it's gonna take me a different direction. But more than likely, since this mechanic doesn't know electricity and wiring, there's going to be one that's going to be coming, and he's going to do that. So there goes the style of an Accord coupe. I think this is where we're at. Let's see what we find. I could just tell it's an Accord by looking at it. Okay, so we missed out on the welding, so that's practically done now. You can see it's right there. That's what we did. So I wasn't able to get the video, but you have to do that. That's a crucial step in the build. It's paramount that you do this, so it's not possibly the thing could snap on you. That's just to give it stability and give it protection in a way. So let's continue with the build. He's actually, I guess, tying up the bolts from inside, I think. So it's situated pretty well. Everything sat there correctly, so that's a good sign. Just like I imagined and I initially thought. My assumptions were correct as planned. Let's continue with the build. So now we're doing this side right here. Good stuff. Okay, the last important crucial step was the axle. So it turns out that if you have an automatic Accord, you could retain the same automatic driver's axle, the CV axle, complete. I bought a new one, not original, but emulated, I guess, made in America. It's a new axle, so it fits perfectly with the same thread. It goes through the hole. So the other issue is that you can reuse the one on the passenger side, and it will be like this, perfect. But the only issue is that if you look in there, it was touching the motor, the block, but the guy grinded it down. So supposedly now it turns, but to me it looks very, very bad. I could still see that was gonna pose a big threat of danger, because that could mess with my block as it's spinning. And I mean, I got the correct part, but on purpose, the spindle hub is the same on both the automatic and standard. The only different thing that they did on purpose was just change this little hub right here. So the one on the manual transmission is a little thicker by I think it's a 1/16 of an inch, or I don't know if it's a 1/8. I think it's a 5/6 or a, what was it, a 5/6, and yeah, it's one of those measures. The next one, the next increment. So here's this is the CV shaft that we're going to use. Came from a TSX automatic, and despite it being the same height as the CO7 Accord, it's the same dimension. So this is the one that came. I labeled it because this is the one that I pulled from a manual transmission, like my car, but manual, with the K24A4. I forgot the correct engine code on that transmission. That's a 5-speed. So I see that's the driver's side. I labeled it, but I'm not using that. I'm just reusing my automatic axle because it's new. See, this is a new one, but the dude never came. He was supposed to trim this down, sand it, but now I'm gonna go ahead and not use that, and I'm gonna go back to the CV shaft, because that's actually the way it's in there right now. In an emergency, it's sitting down. I was gonna do this work, and I realized that I don't even have the damn nut to take off the wheel hub. So I'm in a stuck position, but this is the correct part. So just to show you, this is what you're gonna need. I got this at O'Reilly's. So this one is a little thicker, and that's like I was saying. If you put a whole inch, if you measure an inch, it's below the inch. And I think in particular it was a 5/16, 5 something. It was like one increment to the next one of a difference of the automatic and the manual transmission. So the manual transmission is a little thicker, just a little bit, like barely anything on the inch marker. So now today, this was my job, was to transfer this guy, and hopefully it will fit perfect, because I think that's the only different part that Honda did on purpose. Because I know I checked this before doing this conversion, and I had to do this because, you know, bullshit mechanics be on some bullshit. They be on some bullshit even after I paid one of these guys, which we did the swap already. I have the Type R in there, and the K24A sitting in there. The little small details that I need to fix, but right now I already chiseled it a little bit. I needed this nut right here to pull this out, so I could change this little hub completely and put that new one, and put in that CV shaft, intermediate shaft, connected in there, and assemble with the 3 nuts to the block, and then going through here, because now it will fit. Assuming I've changed this completely, it will fit because the other one's thicker. So that's the only difference. You know, when it comes to hub spindles, or whatever you want to call them, has different names, knuckle, spindle hubs. Because I know a mechanic told me ahead of time, but I checked the schematic and the map showed that this crap right here, the rotor is the same. This crap right here is the same. It's all the same by part and number on both transmissions. The only thing that changes is this little hub right here. That's the only thing that changes. Not it would have been a direct bolt on, because so far the only thing we had to do was just drill on the firewall, and it already has the clutch master, and it's welded onto there, and the pedals are there, but they just need to get it readjusted. Well, let me go ahead and show you the project, so I won't just be talking, and let me show you. So this is going to be a longer video where I talk, because on the other videos I didn't talk at all. I cleaned my car already. So you see, this is the Type R. It sat well. The only thing we couldn't put here was because it's in the other side of it's a right hand driver, so this part wouldn't go. I changed that in this and it looks really clean, nice. Then I have the beautiful CO7 Accord Euro-R Type R. Then I have the pedals and the mechanic that originally we did this swap. You see CO7. Retain your same gas pedal. You don't need to change that. Only these guys. Well, yeah, only the clutch pedal and the gas. Well, what is it? Yeah, that's right. Clutch and the gas pedal and brake or whatever. But let me continue with the build. Here's the automatic shift mechanism and a bunch of stuff that the lazy mechanic didn't put back. For instance, this hard rubber, which goes right there, right after the, what is it, I think the right above the battery, the car battery, and also between the main box, the main the chip section where you have all those clips that control different sensors and relays under the hood. I wouldn't have minded if you had put that back, right? This hard rubber housing, plastic. I think this is still good though. You might still need that, but this is the automatic, so you can see proof that my car was automatic. Well, you already know if you check my videos, and this is the old. I'm not sure if this is from the K24A or if this is from the the old engine wiring harness, or from the new. Oh, I think that's from the K24A JDM engine, because that was an automatic wiring harness, and we're not needing that. And this is the die-by-wire that came off the K24A JDM high compression engine, which I'm not using it because this is die-by-wire. I just retain your old your cable from your 04 Accord. That's pretty much it. And I think, oh yeah, and this is something about the compressor that he took off or removed. Actually, this, my bad. This right here, that's the old header crap, the factory one. This is what we removed. Well, I think that was in the K24A, and we used the old one. The last crucial step is to get the correct ECM. This is from the 2005 Accord. It was affordable, but kind of cheap though. Everything looks swell. I always looked at this right here, make sure that it wasn't broken. So this already went into the, I won't say the maker, but I guess the carrier of the product. They installed it. Because here is the stuff they sent me, and it's already embedded and installed, so this is what you're going to need. And you're going to need this and this wire right here. But you need to source the correct abbreviated ECM, and if I'm not mistaken, it is a A54. I forgot where it's at. Why can't I find it? There we go, A53. But if you go to their website, they tell you, and I know it's the correct part because it says this is included in the specification of the correct ECM, and this is just the year next after my car. So if I just had it the next year, it would have probably been luckily the same ECM. I wouldn't even have to get this ECM because mine is a 04 Accord automatic. This is an automatic ECM. However, it's being implemented in a standard transmission, well, a converted car that was automatic into 6-speed. So now I'm going to be running the K24A high compression engine with the Type R Accord Euro-R CO7 transmission. So this is like the gluing to the cake. They say this is very imperative. This is the first time I ever get engine management, but and the good thing is because I didn't get to put in the, see back there, you can see the bearings of the rods, I think. Well, let me be careful with this cat that I don't step on them. Yeah, that's right, look, you can see these are for the rods, I think. And I had some badass aftermarket rods in here. I think they're Manly. But the pistons are for rebuild. I mean, they're new too, but they say they roll like for up to 1,000 horsepower, but I'm not going to put those because I decided to go with a costier 87mm stock racing piston instead of the Nippon. But I could have done it, man. I kind of regret not doing this because this would have been a badass setup now with the engine management. And then, I don't know, somewhere around here I had the AEM fuel pump. But other than that, let me be careful with this little kitten. This little buddy, he's sleeping. Shouldn't have stepped on the poor guy. But yeah, this is pretty cool, man. I finally got this. I paid about overall $469 plus tax. Well, $469 for just this. The installation was free because I sourced this on eBay to see this correct ECM. I got it for like $60 shipped here. So 60 plus that's 510, 519, 514. Whereas they will charge you, I think $750, $749, and they provide a better, cleaner ECM because it says remanufactured or refurbished, but the one they provide is really clean. So it's a win-win situation. I would have went that route, but I didn't have that much. My income, well, the money available has been already depleted, so I was only able to get by with this. This is the final step, so I'm gonna put this on my video too. Okay, right now we're gonna change this part because this is what he broke, what the mechanic broke. And also, the radiator already changed it. He broke that. He broke this part right here. And right now I realized it when I opened the door. Right here. This part is broken. And look, he left this tool. So he broke this too. So I'm gonna have to go to the junkyard and get this whole piece. So yeah, you gotta be careful who you hire. And this is the bad thing about letting mechanics do work like this, because they end up doing some crap. But I mean, I can't complain about that because that I could easily replace it. So right now I must install the new intake, and most possibly I'm gonna have to install the injectors too, because with the with the harness adapters, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I didn't want to, but I already did it on the old car, so it's not too hard. Just didn't want to get my hands dirty, but yeah, this is broken right here. This is what he broke. He broke that and this over here, two things. So it really pisses me off, man. Okay, so the next step is to put these I think these are 410 MDX injectors, authentic, and they come with the flow chart. Supposedly you check the pattern when you power these on and the way they come out. So I was told, right? Because I bought some of these that I assume were real, but supposedly I think they were emulated cheap Chinese knockoffs, because I only got them for like 50 or 60, and these were like about a little bit over 100, 110, 120, and they're the adapters. My old engine has these new, and I didn't even get to sport them. So this is the next. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I finally put the new intake. It was a pain in to take this guy here, but I finally was able to do it through some lubrication, and I removed that previous cap that was from the K24A, but I just retained it. I was kind of trying to take this off, so it might be a little pushed back, but I'm gonna push it back in so as not to have any leaks. But now the third one that the mechanic broke, this is brand new, and they just got scratched right here when I put it in the concrete floor. And the other thing will be to fix this crap here that he didn't finish that. In the long run, he messed up a lot of things in my car. Like I said, he messed up my radiator, he messed up the intake, so I had to buy a new one. This is the same thing, it's just a little pipe, but this is only scratched right here, as you can see, because I put it in the floor over there, but the rest is new. That's a new red filter, and it came with these red grooves, these insulators, but I didn't put them on because, you know, I was a little lazy. So this is the K24A with the C07 Type R, the Core Type R transmission. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to work and do that. Hopefully I won't spend more than 2 hours, because I know these are factory, but they're snug fit and they're really tight. So that might be a little. The other mechanic comes to do the right axle, CV axle, and the conversion of the hub wheel assembly. But other than that, and I did put a brand new serpentine belt, but it looks kind of loose, so I'm not gonna mess with that. But let's go ahead and do this. Go ahead and get the setup going. So she has a brand new engine with a new I guess you can say a new Type-R transmission, because it has such low miles. It only had like 33,000 miles. So I can't wait to get this going. And yeah, but that's it, man. Just be very careful who you hire and who works with you.
Some of these mechanics be on some shit, man, when they do stuff like that.
Correction, these are RDX OEM injectors, not MDX. Sorry about that. That was a correction. So overall, it should be, the only thing I'm not going to put is the AM fuel pump, the racing fuel pump. Because I'm going to let the racing shop do that, because I already have the engine tuner, engine management, and they're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go forward with the build. Okay, so they're in there with the harness and the little rail that holds the bracket, that holds the individual injector. And now we got to put them in. So let's go forward with the build. Okay, so I couldn't ask for anything better. They're sitting in there kind of flush. The O-ring is there, it's on the bottom, but it's in there, grasped. So it's going good as planned, and tomorrow or Tuesday we're gonna go send it to the racing shop. I'm gonna stop messing around with these loser mechanics that do sorry work. They did the work, but they still messed up a lot of things. Can't rely on crap, so I'm gonna take it to racing shop. And I'm only taking it there because supposedly they've done this before, but they have the dyno tuners and the special machines, and they're gonna charge me like $350 just to run K-tuner and to see how much I produce, how many horses I produce in torque overall. But I think I read that this is a 205 power plant. Well, 205 horses, RBB2, 24A JDM high compression engine, and 6700 RPM redline. But I have the Type-R, which is a 8300 RPM high redline machine from the Or. So we're gonna see how we're gonna navigate in between those two. Maybe what, 7200, and we'll see how well the machine responds. But overall, it's pretty good setup so far. We'll see what happens this week. Let's continue with the build. Okay, so the final step after you converted your right CV axle, well actually yes, after you converted your factory automatic hub assembly, and not the hub spindle, not the thing that holds the entire rotor, the brake pads, and attaches to the upper strut bar, well yes, that's the whole thing. What am I saying? That whole thing, right? It's by same part and number and abbreviation, so you retain it, and you reuse it on your automatic, your X-automatic system. Now that it's manual, since we converted the wheel hub assembly, which is right here, the old one, it's in this box. Let me open it up so you can see. This is the old wheel hub assembly. It's in here. I don't want to get my hands filthy because of the past. That's the automatic one. The whole thing with this, from here to here, the diameter from is 22 millimeters, over less than an inch. And it's also a different measure, but I just don't remember if it was a 5/8, 5/6, or if it was in the 13-14 difference measure of the ruler. But I know is that to be more close to the on correct terms, so you can understand, let's say it's a 22 millimeter circumference or diameter. So this, on the left hand side, you could reuse the new automatic CV axle because it fits perfect. Now on the right side, you had to take off this guy here, this whole thing here, because of this little crap right here that gives, that they made it so that, I guess, because that's just the way they made it. But I realized that it was a hard ball game going through all that crap, and we finally got it yesterday completed. So right now it's sitting down, and it has the manual transmission from the K24A4 with the 5-speed, and it has the CV shaft bolted onto the block, so it has good stability. And the CV axle is from one of these guys that some other guy was selling. Well, not this car, but he already had sold a lot of things, and he sold me the complete pair of the CV axles, which is a manual transmission. But when I tried to get the hub spindle with that whole thing together, he had already sold it, so I labeled it. This is the driver's side, so this is thicker, and that's what I was just telling you. If you put this on on that one that we removed, it won't go through, because this one is 23 millimeters transmission. So this side we didn't have to use it. I mean, it was still reusable. I mean, that's just if you want to, you know. I don't have the money right now for that, so I was lucky that the new automatic, because the new one was this color. This is new too, but it's been greasy. And would you know that this guy here, when you measure the passenger CV axle of the manual transmission, including the CV shaft and the CV axle connected to it, they measure the same height. The only problem is this, it hits the block, so that's why we had to convert it. Or simple measures, if you have 330, 350, 380, order from Honda, the right side. And my car's the EX-L. You just have to put, was it curtain navi? Non-navi. Non-navi. It's EX-L. You will have to put 5-speed manual so you could get the correct one. But mine is EX-L non-navi. And this is automatic. This is the correct one if I was using automatic setup, but I'm not. So someone showed up right now, messed up my video. But yeah, you had to change that to be correctly. I'm gonna have to cut the video because I didn't expect no one to come. But that's pretty much it, man. And now the car is sitting correctly. So as you see, it's sitting good. And you can actually see it. I don't know if you can see it back there, but I brought it down. So that's pretty much it, man. It's looking good. And there's the old engine. And let's go forward with the build. Now I'm calling the tow truck. They're gonna come pick up the car and take it to the machine shop because I had to give them the engine management, the K-tuner. So, and look, this is all the liquids that I'm giving them. I was gonna do it right now because that's easy, but I'm gonna let them do it. And this is my key, and this has a security. This is mapped to my original automatic ECM. So basically, that's that. Let me go get this stuff. Okay, last few details. I wanted to put this subframe, but it's not gonna fit because I still gotta put that other platform. But it would have been pretty cool having this, because this is the Japanese market. JDM 24A, Odyssey, CM2, CM3. So we're gonna go back to the older TSX one and just put that one in. Here's another small detail. This is the one that grabs the valve cover. This one's longer from the K24A JDM. And I took the difference measure is 1 3/4. This is from the K24A4 USDM chassis Accord. So we're gonna use these, and we're gonna see if when it goes down, it won't interfere with the fuel rail and the injectors. So hopefully there won't be too much drama there. Let's see what happens. Okay, so everything is working as planned. This is well balanced. And now she only needs new transmission oil, and also the brake reservoir and the clutch receiver, they need attention. Other than that, it's very successful. Very successful setup. Everything looks well. My dad helped me with this. So now it should be tight. So it should be grounded well and giving it, except this is not on. Because if we put it on, the alarm's going to sound off. So I just guess I'll have to get the tow truck to come get the car. Because like I said, it's automatic, and if you put the key in the ignition, you can see the gauge cluster light up, which looks really awesome because it's the one from the Type-R. And then the steering wheel looks awesome too, but the key gets in. It locks itself in there. Because we already done it with the guy that actually did the swap, but he was able to pull it out doing some little fancy trick. And because he was gonna turn it on that day, but he didn't do that because the bonehead he didn't put the CO7 ECM, which I have up here, which is for that transmission. But the other, which is right there, the other issue that I find is with the master key that I have, because it has like supposedly three different types of security issues. This right here this is right there. It responds well because the original ECM is still there. So that's one issue. And then in the ignition too, the coil, there's another one. And then something about the ECM, it's embedded in there. So that's 3 security issues. But other than that, I would say that it should turn on with the CO7 ECM put in here, because it has the CO7 transmission, and it has the same engine but with low mileage, and supposedly is better balanced. The crankshafts and the pistons might be the same, I think, in structure, but I couldn't verify that because we didn't take them apart. We were gonna put Manley rods and Nippon pistons, but I decided to put that aside because I didn't want this guy messing up anything in particular, especially with pistons. So, but they're upstairs. I actually have the rods are badass. They're Manley, but the pistons are Nippon, and those were gonna be for that engine, actually, for a rebuilt engine, which is the K24A4 USDM chassis, the low emission. Well, it was 160 psi in each cylinder. Then it went up when we put the TSX head. But other than that, everything looks good. So let's go forward with the build. Okay, so I removed the filter, the red filter, the cone, so you can see that this transmission bracket, you're gonna definitely need it. This guy right here that runs to the transmission, well, it attaches to the transmission and it goes into the chassis right below, right there. Also that little square, you're gonna have to get that part. So it's like 2 pieces plus this little bracket, but this is very important, or else you're not gonna go, your transmission is not gonna have the support it needs. So I had to buy this. It's in the schematic too, so it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's a pretty strong, hard metal. It's original from Honda, so you gotta order it. And it works perfect because it's for that transmission. So right now I was trying to locate the main plug to put I was supposed to drain it, but I'm certain that it's already been drained, because that's how automakers or recyclers or salvage yards or Japanese market, they sell you the transmission empty, on empty fluid. So I think it needs transmission fluid, definitely. But I wanted to, now that I moved the air intake, I wanted to show you that important piece, that black piece that you see holding these big bolts. So you're definitely gonna need that part. Don't forget that part. And also this stuff right here. I had to remove this audio cable, and I also had to reinstall it because the mechanic, he messed that up as well. But it's already been fixed. I fixed it already. Just went and bought this new. Had to recut the wire and then reattach it. The ground. Well, I mean, sorry, the battery. My bad. That's the battery from the amp, from the main amp. But as you see right there, that's the manual transmission. Look at the code right there. ASP3, is it? ASP3-4001. Manual transmission, and then check that out. Oh, the little reserver right there, the clutch reserver. So yeah, that too, I think that was actually simple with the little bracket. I think I also got that. But this I got it from an eBay seller, the little reserver. I did waste a lot of money on the stuff for the clutch, all those little things you need to put. You also put that on the shift linkages or whatever you call that. Those grooves, you had to put those. And so I actually did order those. I did good. I had actually everything quite impressive. I did a real impressive job and sourced everything correctly. It was only a few issues here and there, but everything's solved. I just need to do this right now. But anyways, let me cut down the video. So don't forget that main bracket. This right there that I'm touching. Right there. Oh, this right here. This little bracket right here goes right here. And below that guy. It attaches to the chassis. And it bolts right there. The holes were already there, so there ain't no drilling. Make sure you put a transmission fluid on this because you don't want to jeopardize your low mileage transmission with just anybody. So we had to think ahead of schedule and do the correct thing.
Yeah.
If not,
well, you got about a quarter left.
At the racing shop, they could have probably pulled a stunt, and then they would have said, "Oh, it was my guy that he forgot." So to be on the safe side, make sure you do this step right here. This crucial, important step. Okay, the last procedure is the fuel pump. We're replacing the stock fuel pump and put in an AEM fuel pump, racing fuel pump.
Yeah.
It won't be the best upgrade, but it'll be a little better for the new engine and the transmission. They should pair up quite well, and especially with the hardware and software that we're using. So we're kind of giving it a boost in simple terms. But make sure you get it installed correctly, or it gets on put well, because you already saw
what happened to me earlier with the other mechanic, the bullshit mechanic. He left me hanging. We got paid well, and then he left a lot of crap, and I did some of his dirty work. Right. I'm not even supposed to be working, and I still had to do his dirty work.
So now the AEM fuel pump's in there, snug fit, right?
Yeah.
What is that supposed to be?
I don't know what the hell that is. I got it clipped somewhere. Maybe it clips like this.
The only thing I didn't really was able to get was the fuel pressure regulator. I mean, I think the fuel rod. I mean, but nonetheless, it's still cool. The bigger injectors.
Yeah.
And the fuel pump to go along with that. It's not a bad little setup. So this is what the K-Series Master recommends. So we went ahead and put this fuel pump on my Accord, 2004 Accord, with converted transmission from automatic to standard. Let's go forward with the build.
I hate these kind.
So this is the part that I didn't quite see, that the mechanic didn't install, which is this right here. I know I ordered it and I showed it to him, but he didn't do it. And that goes right there. See where I'm sending it? You might not be able to see it on the screen. It goes right there. It's held by a size 10. It goes right there. It sits right there. Then it loops. It's like a manguera or like a tubing. grabs from one end to the other, the slave cylinder, and then it goes right here, and this thin cable goes to the firewall in the corner of this chassis. I'm assuming to the master cylinder. I didn't see that he put that part, so that might be the missing link. No wonder the clutch wasn't behaving correctly. I'm assuming it's because of that. So remember this, it has to be not that. You see that little empty hole? Right there, it sits right there, and it's held down by just one bolt, a size 10. So let's remember this so we can recap when we go back home and check the status of my setup. So it goes right there, and it's just supposed to sit in there like that. And I know about this cable too, and the dummy did install it and that tubing. I got that tubing new. So just look at this, and that's pretty much the blueprint. Okay, so the car's locked out, it won't turn on. Right now the tow truck is gonna push me up.